So one of the things we've been talking about is the distinction between sort of relaxed, I'm going down to practice, or I'm doing league bowling, and then I'm in a tournament, and what happens to people, and how people oftentimes talk about tightening up, choking up, freezing up, whatever it is. And I'll show you a little bit about what happens here with Kim, and sort of what works and what doesn't work. And so I'm going to ask you to do, and this is a bit of a tough shot. High Sierra Lanes here in Reno has put out a version of the USBC Nationals shot. So this isn't your house shot, it's not a house block. And so it's a little more challenging to strike. But I'm going to ask Kim to just sort of throw some shots. She doesn't have to strike, but I'd like you to work on hitting the pocket. Play no tap if you can, carry when you can, but let's throw some strike balls here. Say 2 or 3, okay? Well, go ahead. All right, good. Now, so let's talk for a second here. So Kim's been warming up, throwing some shots. Really nice carry, got a good ball roll going. And we're going to do something that we've done on some other parts of our USB series here, which is I've got a real $100 bill, and she gets one shot for the money. Okay, so strike, and
so I get to keep this.
You get to keep the $100 bills, and if you don't strike, you get nothing. Okay, so we'll put that out here. It's the new kind, which is kind of fun, and
it's real.
This is a real, but one shot. All right, so let's see what you got.
Ready.
Oh, that's a darn shame. That 7-pin's still standing. Well, that happened to me one time too. The most important thing, actually there's a couple of things. That can happen, obviously. But for most people watching, if we put you in this position, just as when we put Kim in this position, something changes. Like now this is important. And there's a change from that nice free flow to a sort of concentration and an immediacy of being present that most people are not used to. And so when they start a tournament or they make the cut and they make the finals, they're on TV, what they think is choking sometimes, actually it isn't even choking, it's just the unfamiliar super concentration, super attention, super focus that's unfamiliar for daily practice.
Well, you know what was different about that I noticed right away?
Yeah,
because I'm like, well, I don't know if he's really going to give me this 100, so I'm not going to get too fired up about it. But
don't know if I'm really going to give him the 100. Okay, that's a different issue.
But really what I did is I found myself as, like, immediately, I took a little extra time with my grip sack, and I was, on the other shots, I was just sort of standing in the vicinity. I mean, I was standing in the same place, but I found myself sort of really focused in, like those first couple steps to my starting position was much more deliberate and slower than it was any other time, which I know happens very much during competition. I mean, in practice, it's your turn, you throw the ball, you step up there, you throw it. But all of a sudden, when the lights come on and the competition has begun, then, everybody is giving you your space and your turn.
Yes.
And you're supposed to be paying attention and being deliberate, and you're supposed to be good at that point.
And what Kim is describing is one shot where she had what's called deep practice, where she's very present. All of a sudden, as she mentioned, a little more time with my grip sack, a little more deliberate in terms of setting up, and some attention to really getting started well. And it's not that, it's what I should say what it is it's all right. Where in practice, a lot of people will blow through all these moves.
Right.
And so when it's time, as we say, when the money's on the line, all of a sudden there's all this attention and it feels foreign. And what we want to do in terms of training this part of the competition mental game is have it feel familiar. And the way that it's familiar is if you can make yourself, I'll say 10 shots in any given practice session, pretend that it's a $100 shot, And particularly if it's a $100 spare shot, and do all that you would do. Then when you have the front 7 strikes or the front 9 strikes, it won't be so strange when you're going to go for that 10th one. To have that discipline to say 10 times, at least in this practice, I'm going to throw a $100 shot. You'll be completely familiar. Next time you're in a competition situation, you have to do that. It's like, I've been here before a lot.